Hi, everyone. So happy that you are here. I know June is an incredibly busy month for many because school is ending, extracurriculars, you've got kids are wrapping up, so you could be spending your Wednesday evening any other way, but you decided to be here, and for that, the three of us were so grateful. And I like to start our time together. Oh, am I going backwards?
Yeah.
Oops.
Down.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about how we can radiate confidence, right? So I like to start our time together by asking you all a question. That is, who here just can't wait to step in front of a camera, strike a pose, and be photographed? No one? Right, and who here feels like or have at least thought in their life that I don't feel photogenic? Yeah, I feel vulnerable in front of a camera. You go up and you don't know what to do. I don't know how to move my body in front of the camera, right? And you feel like you don't like a photograph of you. Yeah, same here. I get that. So I'm a photographer, a portrait photographer that specializes in photographing women, which actually means I spend majority of my time convincing women that yes, you are photogenic. Yes, you don't need to lose 20 pounds to be photographed. That yes, you can love yourself in a photograph and feel confident to be seen in your own body. So today we're going to talk about 3 things that you can do to boost your confidence, which I like to say confidence is not a constant thing. Self-worth is a constant thing. You are worthy because you exist. Confidence is something that we can practice, cultivate, and change. And we can be empowered through different tools to do that, right? So the first thing I like to talk about is investing in yourself. Second thing we'll talk about is shifting your perspective. And the third thing, which is what I do as a portrait photographer, is that I very quickly can help someone feel confident in front of my lens by mirroring back my body language and the shifts that happen in their state of confidence when they're being photographed. So how to utilize your body language to boost your self-confidence, right? So down arrow button. I'll get it by the end of my talk. So, first, have anyone heard of the cake study here? No? Okay, you're going to hear about the cake study. So there was a group of researchers. They had a baker bake a big chocolate cake, okay? And they had this cake cut in half. So half of it, they cut into tiny little pieces, and the other half, tiny little pieces. And they said this half is $5 per slice. And they said this half is $15 per slice, right? And they had a group of participants to come and taste test the cake. So then what do you think happened as the results? The group that tasted the $5 cake versus the group that tasted the $15 cake. Any guess? Well, let me tell you. So the $5 cake, people said, oh, it was dry. It was too sweet. It was not the best cake that I've had. And then the $15 slice, true story this is, $15 slice, people were saying, oh my God, it was the best chocolate cake I have ever tasted. It's perfectly moist, it's delicious. And when I read the study, I was chuckling to myself because it's the same cake, right? And then I thought about it because I was a psych major in university. I thought about it, and fundamentally, our brain will equate investment to value and worth. So the more we invest in something, whether it's time, think about it, whether it's time, whether it's energy, whether it's money, right? You tend to value it more, right? And this applies to ourselves. When we invest in ourselves, in our body, in our health, in our mindset, in the things that we do, we value ourselves more. So we have to think of ourselves as the $15 piece of cake, right? So I wasn't always a photographer. I was trained as a respiratory therapist and many years of school, and I worked in the neonatal ICU at Mount Sinai Hospital. So when I picked up the camera, that was 11 years ago, when my oldest daughter was born. She's actually sitting in the back right there. And so when I had her at Mount Sinai Hospital, we're a high-risk center, which means that we look after premature babies, and some of them are the palms of your hands, like 590 grams, 23 weeks gestation. Some babies, term babies, are 37 to 40 weeks, right? So premature babies are very small. So we step in and support their respiratory system, and that's what I did. And I, of course, decided to deliver both of my kids there. They're Blair and Anne, right? And it was a low-risk pregnancy, low-risk delivery, but to my surprise, 12 hours postpartum, so if you have kids, imagine 12 hours, new mom, we discovered that my oldest had a stroke. Yes, so she had a stroke. So like any stroke patient that you know, half of her body wasn't moving. She was having seizures, right? So, and when I was able to bring her home finally, she's fine now, thriving, she's fine now. And when I was able to bring her home a month after her being in the neonatal ICU, that's when I picked up the camera. Because when I captured those photos, they weren't just photographs to me, right? To anybody else, sure, it's a photograph of a baby. But, and that was her when she was first born, right? So we were there for a month. And so when I picked up the camera, every single photograph, I had photographs of her every single day from my mat leave. And that is the essence of portrait photography. And that is, I love you for everyone that we love. Our pets, our children, our family, the food we eat. We want to capture it if we're loving it, right? And that's the essence of portrait photography to me. That is, I love you, and I want to remember you for always. So naturally, I started as a newborn photographer because I was very comfortable with newborns. And I had a difficult time going back to the hospital, so I shifted my career, and other moms started noticing that these photos are beautiful, and they wanted me to help capture their loved ones as well. And I noticed a trend at my studio, that is the moms that were having the babies that I was photographing, they resisted being in front of the camera. And understandably so, your body's going through so much change, none of your clothes fit, and you're exhausted beyond belief. So yeah, it's not the best time that you want to be photographed. But however, one day, that's all that our children, our loved ones will have of us. And they're not going to think, gosh, Mom, you should have lost 20 pounds before you took that photo with me. No. So then I started having a very strong desire to invite the women to be in photographs, exist in photographs for your children. If you don't know how to do hair and makeup, don't worry about it. We can hire someone that will help you feel ready. None of the clothes fit, doesn't matter. We have a full wardrobe at Blair Ann Studios to style you so that you can feel the most confident in front of the lens, right? So then I started photographing women and say, I got you. I can show you how to move your body in front of the lens so you feel so beautiful in your skin. So then the I love you, I want to remember you for always, for all of the things that we want to capture became for me, I love me. And I want to remember me for always, for me, right? So that when we're in that state of being, we can give from our overflow and not give from an empty cup. So invest in yourselves in all sorts of ways, mind, body, and soul, so we can see ourselves as that $15 slice of chocolate cake. And so this is a client of mine when I officially launched my business. This was 7 years ago. I photographed her as a mother, and I photographed her when she left corporate and launched her business, her coaching business. This is her podcast. And also just the woman that was always there from the first breath you took until your last breath on this earth, the woman that's always there with you. Have compassion for that woman. And that's what we want to capture. All the different stages and milestones. So when we are old little ladies and we think back to all the important moments of our life, those are beautifully ingrained in our mind, right? And this was a 40 over 40 project that I had at my studio. And I photographed 50 women. When I turned 40, I'm 44 this year and in full perimenopause, feeling all the symptoms. And this was a 50 women that I photographed that I wanted to connect with, that reflected on what midlife reflection was like. And I'm going to read a little bit of what she wrote about turning 40. And she said, my journey up to this point can be akin to a process of making fine wine. It may sound dramatic, but like the sweet, deep, dark purple grapes, I was harvested in my 20s, crushed and pressed in my 30s. And now in my 40s, I sense a process of fermentation and clarification. I'm rolling up my sleeves to do the work which is shifting me from being a state of must to one of magnificent consciousness and authenticity. So of course, this comes with a roller coaster of dichotomies, joy and sorrow, bliss and depression, victory and defeat, confusion and clarity, you name it. These are all present within me, and I accept every lesson that life is offering me as a teacher. This is so good. I can only imagine the quality of the fine wine that I am becoming. I am so grateful for this stage in my life, fermenting and clarifying, and I'm gaining so much grace and wisdom in the process. And this is the beauty of our evolution and every stage of our life as a woman, every season that should be beautifully documented and preserved. And it's not vanity. It's I love me, and I want to remember me for always. And we currently have a 50 and Fabulous project going on, saying that, just because you're past your reproductive years doesn't mean you don't have any value. So if you resonate with that, definitely take a look at the 50 and Fabulous project. And the second thing is shifting your perspective. So I'm going to bring you to another study now, which is, have you heard of the spotlight effect? No? So a group of researchers, the spotlight effect, had a first-year university student, first class, on the first day of university. You're feeling vulnerable, right? Like, should I be here? Unsure of yourself. So they had this student wear a ridiculous t-shirt. I think it was like a Gary Manilow t-shirt or something. So something that was ridiculous. And they had the student go about their day, attend all the different classes. And then at the end of the first day, they asked the student to estimate what percentage of people do you think noticed your t-shirt? So he said, 50%. So that's 1 out of 2 people he encountered, he estimated has noticed his t-shirt. But what they then went and do is asked the other students that are in the class that how many of you actually noticed there was this other kid wearing a ridiculous t-shirt? Would you think it was higher or lower? Lower. It was lower. It was less than 20%. So 30% difference is a huge, significant difference. And that's highlighting the spotlight effect, which means that we have a tendency to give ourselves the spotlight effect. Yes. So we put ourselves in the spotlight. We give other people more credit than they actually deserve, that they're actually paying attention. I don't know even if you're paying attention right now, which I hope you do. But that is the spotlight effect, is that we think we're in the spotlight when everyone else is also thinking the same thing. So if you're feeling vulnerable in any state, you can bet that someone else is feeling the same emotions, and they are wrapped up in their own stuff. Too much to actually notice what you're doing. So that's perspective. So now let's do an experiment. Do we all have your phones here? Yeah. Okay, let's take out your phones. We now will do our own experiments. Yeah. So do we all have our phones out? Oh. Okay, so we're gonna hold our phones. We're gonna hold it up at this angle. We're gonna take 2 selfies. Okay, turn on your camera. Yep. Turn on your camera and hold it up high. Yep. And take a selfie of you from this angle. Look at the camera. Yeah? Okay. So now take your phone and put it here. Yes, put it here on your chest. Look at it and take another photo. Terrible. Okay. So out of the 2 photos, which one would you think you'll post on Instagram? Photo number 1, right? And which photo, be honest, that you would like more of yourself? Up here. Yeah. Now, which photo do you think your children, the little ones, which angle and your pets see you most? The ones that love you so unconditionally. Which angle do they see you at? Yeah. Down here. So you're walking around like this to them, and guess what? They still love you so much, right? So, and that's perspective. That's perspective. And have you changed between photo 1 and photo 2? Have all your achievements, accolades, who you are, have that altered in that split second? No. That's perspective, right? How we view ourselves. So it doesn't matter how the outside world views ourselves. What's most important is how we view ourselves. And that's self-worth, right? So this was mine. And I did the same experiment, but I didn't change. It's okay. This is worthy. That is also worthy, right? And we have to see ourselves that way. So these are 2 quotes that I love from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He's one of my favorite authors, and that is, self-worth comes from one thing. It's that thinking that you're worthy. And that's the perspective we want to hold dear. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change as well. And that captures that perspective aspect so beautifully. So now we're going to move into the body language, which is what I do at my studio, which is helping my clients, and they mirror back what I do with my body so that they know what to do. They're just like they're looking in a mirror, right? So I do notice an intriguing trend at my studio. When they come into the studio for their photo shoot, they're often feeling very vulnerable, very nervous, and they would tell me things like, I haven't slept the night before. Do I have dark circles? What's going on here? And they're feeling vulnerable, right? But 3 hours later, at the end of their photo shoot, they're somehow shifted. And their shoulders are back, their head is high, and they walk out of the studio with a hair flip. And they go, I can't wait to see my photos, okay? And they bounce out of the studio, and I would just go, what happened here? What caused that shift in their state of confidence? Same woman, 3 hours later, right? It's not just the hair and makeup, it's in the energy in which they carry themselves has shifted. So, and that's when I learned the work of Dr. Amy Cuddy. And Dr. Amy Cuddy she has one of the most popular TED Talks available today, top 5. And she's a researcher on presence and imposter syndrome. So how can you feel confident being yourself? And in her research, she has discovered that even a couple of minutes of shift into more confident body language, it can change us on a physiologic level, which means that our cortisol, the stress hormone, drops, and our testosterone, the confidence hormone, is boosted. So not only, we look more confident and other people perceive us such and treat us as if we're more confident, we actually feel more confident. And those two factors together is a self-fulfilling cycle that boosts your confidence, right? And then there's another popular researcher, Vanessa Van Edwards, and she calls this nonverbal charisma, which is that your posture and your body language speaks for you before you speak, because the language centers in our brain is actually quite young compared to some of the other perceptors in our brain, right? So it's pretty well accepted fact now of the 100% of the way that we communicate with each other. Do we know what percentage is actually verbal? 7%, yes. So it's a pretty well accepted fact. So that leaves 93% that are non-verbal, and of which 60% is our body language and our micro expressions. And then the other 30% is our vocal quality. So with the volume that we speak. So when you actually stand taller, simultaneously, you're opening up your airways to be able to speak up and speak louder. So you're essentially saying to the outside world that I'm not afraid to be seen, or I'm not afraid to be heard, right? And what is a photograph? A photograph of you essentially is a way of you saying who you are without using words, right? So it is all in your body language and your facial micro expressions. So because I'm very visual, I find it very easy to show instead of talk. So you can see this. She is one of my clients. She's in the 50 and Fabulous project. And this is her before the transformation and after the transformation. Same top, actually. So you can see in the post, the way that she's standing is with more confidence, right? Same woman. And this is a client of mine that came for a personal branding session. So we dressed her up in very professional attire, and she looks radiant in the photo. And this is a client of mine that came for a more glamorous personal branding session here. And this is not my client, just so we're clear. This is Marilyn Monroe, and this is Marilyn Monroe before. And, every day Marilyn, when she just rolled out of bed, and this is the Marilyn that we know, right? We have, she's probably one of the iconic figures of our century, right? But anything we put outwards to the world has a performance aspect to it, right? So whether it's this version or that version, even Marilyn doesn't wake up looking like Marilyn. So let's not confuse packaging, what we present outwards, with our self-worth. That's just dressing up. And it should be fun, right? And what you will notice with each of these clients in their before photo is that they're in a very self-protective stance. Do you see it? Right? This is the fig leaf stance, like Adam and Eve. You're covering your privates because you're feeling very vulnerable. So if I don't say anything to my clients and just pick up the camera and say, stand there, let's take a photo of you. You are doing a few things. You're protecting your privates and you are tucking your chin in. When we're feeling confident and happy to open up, be vulnerable, we expose our carotid. So when we're feeling guarded, we tend to do this, protecting our carotid, right? And when we open up, your voice can project. When you shut down, you go into something called vocal fry, which is like, oh my God, like you can't get your voice across. So in the after this transformation, in the body language to be a more confident state. So this is one of my favorite power poses to take all of my clients through, and I call it the Wonder Woman pose because we are all Wonder Women, right? We do so much, and all the different hats that we wear. So body language is power posing body language is body language that takes up space. So notice how your body is sitting right now on that chair, right? And then what we're gonna do,
to be iconic.
okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have everybody stand up. You can drop your food, drop your drink. And I'm going to take you through a series of body language that I would take all of mine. You just have to see, make sure you can see me, right? Make sure I can see you. And what we're going to do is first mirror what I'm doing. Now take a deep breath in, everyone. Drop your shoulders. Oh, that felt really good, actually. And then shake it out, shake off the energy, the pressure, the nervousness, shake it out. Roll your shoulders back. Perfect. And then you're going to do a hip tilt back. I'll show you from the side. So when we tuck in, we curve our spine. Nobody wants this. We want to do this. So hip tilt back. This stretches. This is like doing Pilates. Hip tilt back shifts the weight to the back. And now what you're going to do is expand your arms into 2 triangles. Perfect. Everyone looking so good. And you're going to rock your weight. Yep. And then also put your hands on the smallest part of your waist. That's typically what I see, because we're going to make these power poses also feminine, right? So it's not about just being strong. It's also being strong in our feminine power. So we're going to put here, because that emphasizes our S curves, right? So we're going to shift our weight to one side. Perfect. We're going to shift our weight to the other side. Good. And now we're going to bring this arm up. Put it here, make another triangle. Yeah. And push your chin out. Yep. Expose our diamond right here. And bring this down on this hand and shift to the other side. Perfect. Ooh, love that. Okay. So now everyone, you're going to put your front forward. We're not done yet. Front forward and rotate this way. Push towards. Yep. Perfect. And go back. And then shift your weight on this side. Hip tilt back. Bring your shoulders forward. And this is the extra move here for anyone that wants to attempt. You're going to bring your arms, make another triangle, expand, grab your hair, pull it up. Bring your arms in like you're about to sniff through your arms. There you go. Push through. Create that S curve by holding and look through. There you go. There is a beautiful photograph. There. So how are we feeling?
Practice at home.
Yeah. So now we can just, that one standard pose that we all have when the camera goes up.
Yeah.
So now we can move a little bit beyond that now, right? Okay. So I asked, our theme today was iconic, becoming iconic. So I asked my 9-year-old, what does iconic mean to you? And I picked I asked my 9-year-old because I feel like she's at the age where she can grasp these abstract concepts of what iconic means, but not old enough that she's socialized what the world is telling her, right? Do you want to hear her answer?
Yeah. I think to be iconic means like being unique and being yourself. Because if you're not yourself, that means you might have to follow someone else's orders, which are not really fun for me. So I like being unique and being myself. So everyone should love themselves.
Cheers,
Right? And I thought that was the perfect answer, right? Like I did not coach her through this. And what I would like to highlight is what she said about being unique and being yourself. And here's the key. We are already born unique. Unless you're an identical twin, then you're not genetically unique. But for most of us, we are already born unique as an individual. So that's all you need to be iconic. It's just to be yourself, right? And I would like to end my talk with highlighting again the difference between self-confidence and self-worth. And my oldest daughter is here, and I love that they can see all the things that their mom is doing, and understand deeply within themselves as they grow up with the world of social media, constantly being bombarded with beauty ideals that are just so unattainable. It's with a deep understanding that self-confidence fluctuates based on situation. It's a practiced skill set. The more you do something, the more confident you become at something. And that is empowering for them to know that it's in their control. But the difference is self-worth. It's something that you are already born with because you exist. And no one can take that away. So whether it's this version of you or this version of you, remember that it's perspective, it's good lighting, it's packaging. This is worthy. Also, this is worthy. Just a different capture. And someone that knows what they're doing with the camera, right? So to recap, number 1, invest in yourself. Know that you are worthy. Number 2, shift your perspective. People don't actually notice as much as you think they are. Think of the spotlight effect. And number 3 is embody your power through your body language. Act it out first. It changes your physiology from within. And this is a practiced skill. Like when I ask my kids to take a shower on Thursday, and they don't like to shower for whatever reason, they tell me, Mom, I showered on Monday already. I'm like, well, you can't just shower once and be clean for the rest of your life. Just like you can't work out once in January and expect abs in June. Doesn't work that way. I wish that was true. But that's just it. It's a skill that we constantly practice. And depending on the environment and the situations and the people we meet, it fluctuates, right? So my studio is Import Credit. And this is my family and my 2 girls. And I'm Import Credit in Mississauga here, and you can connect with me on Instagram. I post a lot of body language tips on there and a lot of fun reels of behind the scenes that we create at my studio. I'll give you a minute to do that. And I would love to connect with you there. Okay. And if you would like to learn more about what I do and how we create a sense of feeling beautiful in your own skin at my studio, connect with me and jump on a call with me. And today, the first 15 people that bought tickets, please step in front of my lens. And I invite you to do a photo shoot with me so we can capture the most beautiful portraits you have ever seen of yourself. Thank you.